and welcome to the free podcast with me, Jack Grant, Luke Hall, and Aaron Ford. So we're on podcast 5 now. I'm going to take a little bit of a different twist on it to what we've done previously. We've kind of swayed away from the variety we was looking for and went down a path of football. So I'm trying to get us back into a bit of the weird and wonderful now. Firstly, I think we need to discuss a little bit about Hawless's behaviour on the last podcast. I think if you listen to that, I'm sure you'll be well aware of how drunk he got as the podcast went on. You got any words for us, Wallace?
Yeah, well, I hope the listeners enjoyed it. I certainly didn't after a certain point. As you know, Jack, you're boasting how drunk I was on house party. I somehow ended up, went outside for a cigarette. I come upstairs, I fell into the bathtub, whacked my head, and proceeded to be sick. So, great Friday night in isolation. Yeah. Rough the next day, I tell you what.
So all whilst in isolation as well. This is how you treat your body, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the most drunk I've ever been, and I was cooped up in my room. I just didn't think that'd ever happen.
Okay, so I'm sure you'll all forgive him. Some of you might have found it entertaining, thinking, "Oh my God." Hearing him try to unscrew the whiskey bottle and hearing him slurring his words as he got towards asking our special guest Jordan Mellon about his salary.
He still ain't told me.
Berating his client list. I mean, he didn't stop. Dropping the C bomb in there.
Yeah, apologies for any bad language.
That needs to stop, I think.
But if you don't know him already, that's Hawless for you, and I don't think he's ever going to change, unfortunately. So, with this topic, I don't think this one's going to be as long as what we've had in the past few weeks. I think football's one of them that we can get lost in and talk for hours, but it's going to be going down a similar path to what I spoke about in the first. Something that you're probably not going to have anything to relate to speaking about it, but hopefully you'll find it informative. And so any of you's got any ideas?
No, I've really struggled this week. So you did tweet, so anyone who's following us on Twitter, seen the chat put like an Italian flag and was it a bar of soap?
It was.
If it's the Roman baths or something, Jack, I'm going to be very pissed off.
No, it's not the Roman baths. I can guarantee you that.
Okay.
So, obviously you've got the Italy flag, so it's something that happened in Italy, yeah.
Something that happened in Italy. How far back we going? Is it Romans?
No, I'd say about stretching 100 years.
100 years.
Spartacus.
Well, 100 years ago.
Spartacus. First thing he says.
That's gold dust. Please, go on, Aaron. Take it away from there. Spartacus, go on.
I don't know, really. That's Italian, isn't it?
Yeah, you're a good while. You're a good while out.
Right. 100 years ago, World War One, just after.
Wow. So the other. It's in this time zone. It does stretch into World War II, and that's discussed in part because of it. But the topic actually is a little bit more dark. Now, Aaron might get a little bit scared with this because you know what he's like with horror films.
Yeah.
But the scariest film he's ever watched is The Haunted Mansion, which is a PG with Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Let's not talk about that one.
If he's got a good imagination, this might make him sleep with one eye open tonight. But okay, I'll get to it. It's a serial killer.
Okay.
It's a serial killer in Italy, but not your everyday serial killer. Now they only killed 3 people, so you think, okay, just about qualified. But
so it's a group, not.
No, they only killed 3 people. So in order to become a serial killer, it has to be 3 or more people at spaced out. Like you couldn't be all in one sitting. so to speak, as that word might be very, very fitting for what we're about to get into here. So, it is also a she.
Okay.
What?
Yes.
That's so surprising. Surely there's not many serial killers who are female.
Wow.
Especially
She
during
goes-
that time as well.
So she goes by the name of Leonarda Cianciulli.
Oh, it's very Italian.
And
Bit
afterwards,
sexy, that is.
oh, well, wait till you see a photo of her. I think you'll beg to differ. And now she's famously known as the deadly soap maker of Correggio. So, a little bit. Oh God.
What's going on?
I don't know. I think the nukes are coming. It took away the suspense of the deadly soap maker of Correggio. There we go again.
Bloody hell. It's like a warning sign. Don't say it a third time. It's gonna pop up.
Let's try it a third time. The deadly soap maker of Correggio.
That is the worst name I've ever heard.
What, of her?
Yeah, that's not even scary, Matt.
Yeah, okay, we will see then.
I've got a feeling this is going to get really dark.
So, Leonardo Cianciulli lived from 1894 till 1970. So, sweet little old Leonardo was born in Montella Avellino, a small town to the east of Naples in Italy. Now, while still a young girl, she attempted to kill herself twice. So, things aren't great to start, really. You know, a lot of other kids are out. They're playing hopscotch. They're doing whatever. She's. I don't think she's really on board with that. There's obviously a little bit more going on in her head. So it takes until 1917, which is 16, say 20 mid-20s before she gets married, which I think for that time is actually, that seems pretty old anyway. Yeah. She gets married to a guy called Raphael Pansardi, and her parents didn't approve of the marriage as they planned to marry her to another man. Now, that's a big thing back then, isn't it? I mean, it's still a big thing now in some cultures, but
yeah.
So that wasn't approved. So I think she was kind of out to fend for herself from there.
Okay.
Now, Cianciulli claimed that because she went against the parents' wishes, that her mother had cursed her. Now, I'm thinking there's something more sinister going on now. Like, okay, or is it just not idiocy, but is there more like, I don't know. She's believe. It depends what you believe in, doesn't it? If you believe in that kind of thing, then yeah. So she reckons a curse has been put on the two of them. So she's a little bit anxious, you'd say. I think that's the PC word that we could choose about the cursing. In 1921, at the age of 27, after being married, the couple moved to his hometown of Loria, to the south of Naples.
Okay.
So things are going all right for 6 years when Cianciulli was sentenced and imprisoned for fraud in 1927, 6 years later. It doesn't go into too much detail about what or how this come about, but obviously she's no angel. But yeah, as what I'm about to go into, fraud's a mere drop in the ocean. So, so the move about, one house gets destroyed by an earthquake and then they move to another, finally settle in the town of Correggio, or Correggio, excuse my pronunciation being an Englishman, in 1930. Now, the question on your lips, I'm sure, is how is she the deadly soap maker of Correggio?
Yes, that was of course my question.
Yeah, well, here you go. So, this trustworthy and reliable individual, Leonardo Cianciulli, decides to open up a small shop in a town and become a very popular, well-respected local, as you can imagine. Yeah, okay. You know, just serving the local people. You know, lovely woman as she sounds. So, Cianciulli has an astounding 17 pregnancies during a marriage.
No, bloody hell.
17.
Are they all Raphaels or
and Marios and Luigi's?
Yeah.
But
It's a
But
lot, man.
she lost 3 children to miscarriage, and 10 more died young.
Wow.
So now she's thinking, is
The
this the
curse?
curse?
Yeah.
Is this the curse? So she only has 4 surviving children, and now she's super protective over these. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So she received a warning sometime earlier from a fortune teller. Now I think she's very into this, as you hear. Who said that she would marry and have children, but that all the children would die young. She also visited a Romany gypsy who practiced palm reading, and they told her, in your right hand I see prison, and in your left a criminal asylum. So
Are they like those people who are at the circuses? Do you know, like when you go to like the little boxes and then you talk to someone and then they put they read your mind?
there's Zoltar. You're talking about
Yeah,
Zoltar, like when it's like the robot,
Oh no, like you
like an
go
actual
to,
person, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an actual person, and you
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
them.
yeah. So they're meant to tell you your future and stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Do you? See,
Yeah, I think that's cool.
on that topic, I don't think I'd like that. You know, like if someone could tell you when you were going to die,
Yeah.
True.
would you want to know? I don't think I would.
No, I don't think I would want to know, but I also don't believe them. Like, I seen one on telly the other day. They're like these clairvoyants who think they can and this one's so annoying. She's like a fucking celebrity, and she was going to see other celebrities and tell them about oh, I think I'm speaking to your mum. Is it? She passed away. She's just said that person's a celebrity. You can find that out on the internet.
Hold
I was
on.
like, you gotta
Hold
be
on.
the worst person ever.
You know what you've just brought to my mind? So, I'm getting the word nonce.
Yeah, exactly. That is. Although I do think we should all go see one for the purpose of the podcast. I do think it'd be interesting if we all went to see the clairvoyant.
It would be good when we get out of lockdown and we can start doing the video podcasts properly, because no one wants to see us speaking on Skype as we are at the minute. No one wants to see just our individual faces. When we start doing it properly, and what was that? Sorry, mate.
Too good looking for that to be hid away.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so once we start, it'd be good if we could do like special, special shows live from the clairvoyant, or I don't know. That I think that's potentially one that we could look at doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, I think I'll be shitting myself because I don't think I like none of that. I mean, I say I don't. I think we know one person on this podcast here who shoots himself at a strong wind. So
I know about it, mate. I just let you two do that stuff.
It's the same with like a Ouija board as well. Like,
please, none of that now, please.
No, I don't believe in that, but I wouldn't want to risk it. To be
none of that. Yeah, none of that now.
Nah, just in case. Just in case.
Do you know what? I've got quite a funny story actually about a Ouija board, just to go off track a little bit.
Yeah.
In one of the cases which I did when I was doing my law degree, I come across a jury who they retired at the end of a case. And they were all living in a hotel because they were all from a different state and were all brought in. This is in America, obviously. That's where all the weird cases are. We all retired, and they found the decision of the defendant via a Ouija board. That was how they to the decision. So they all played the game, and then they were basically asking the Ouija board to give them a decision of if they thought the defendant was guilty or not.
Asking the Ouija board, is the person innocent? That's
raving mentalists.
Absolutely crazy. And then they ended up going back and give the verdict. And then luckily, it got found out that they did that. I don't know how it came about, but obviously the decision got turned, thankfully.
Oh, wow.
Satan must be rolling in his grave now.
Carry on, sorry.
Okay, so we're going from here. So the Romany gypsy has told her, in your right hand, I see prison. In your left hand, a criminal asylum. So kind of sets the tone. But now the real story begins. Any idea what was going on around this time? I think we spoke about it at the start of the podcast.
What year are we in? 1930?
1939.
1939, World War II.
Exactly. Exactamundo.
In fact, Mussolini would have been in charge, wouldn't he?
Yeah, this is it. So, in 1939, Cianciulli learned that her eldest son and her favourite child, Giuseppe, was going to join. Yeah,
A favourite.
sounds like my old man, doesn't it, when he speaks about his kids? It's usually parents are, and yours actually. You're the least favourite child, aren't you?
Yeah. Jake's
Honestly, that is so true what you just said.
So yeah, she learned that her eldest son and her favourite child, Giuseppe, was going to join the Italian army in preparation for World War II. Now, obviously, now we know he backed the losers. He was he was part of the losers, so things weren't going to look good for old Giuseppe. But but we'll look into this next point as to why maybe he survived. So she's frantic. So she's made the decision. She's got to protect him at all costs. So she's came to the totally reasonable, totally sane conclusion that she could guarantee his safety by providing human sacrifices.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right then.
So
Yeah, clearly sane. Right
then. A bit of a Satanist, I think you could say. Yeah, like a bit. Yeah. So she's not the nicest woman, I don't think you could say.
I'm surprised because my first thought was, she's gonna kill like the subscribing officer who's signing him up to war or something. Not fucking human sacrifice to Satan.
Wow. Yeah. So she's obviously got a lot of logic, but
smart
I think she's very calm. She's very calm and collected. She knows what she's doing, which you're about to find out. So along comes Faustina Setti. Now, Faustina Setti is a woman, say she's past her prime, but yeah, I say late 30s, early 40s, right? But she's come to Cianciulli to help her find a husband. Now, don't ask me why she's come to Cianciulli. In fact, tell a lie. I do know why she's come to Cianciulli. Ignore that. Because Cianciulli is a local fortune teller, and she's obviously filling these people with false hope. So she's kind of following the same path as the Roman Gypsies practiced upon. You know, she's in that kind of field.
Yeah.
So she's a fortune teller. So Cianciulli's told Faustina Setti that she's got a suitable partner for her in the nearby town of Polla. But she says, tell nobody. Bit suspicious, right? I mean, you wouldn't even tell your mate. Anyway, Cianciulli persuaded Setti to write letters and postcards to relatives and friends to be mailed when she reached Polla to tell them that everything was fine. Now, if someone's telling me to do that, there's already red flags everywhere.
That is a bit suspect, isn't it? But maybe she's trusting in the fortune teller. I mean, who wouldn't trust someone who says they can predict the future?
Well, this is very true because it all comes true. So, preparing for a departure, Faustina Setti came to Cianciulli one last time. Cianciulli offered her a glass of drugged wine as a toast, obviously not knowing it's drugged. Yeah. And as she's a little bit laxy-daisy, starting to go a little bit disorientated, she's then killed with an axe and dragged the body into a closet. So
that's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. That isn't nice, but I mean, that's a bit of a gruesome murder, but that stuff happens. That stuff happens.
As gruesome as it is, I'm a little bit disappointed that no soap was involved. Her name's a bit of a lie in it.
Well, that's it. And then she just jumped in the shower, washed off the blood with some soap, and that was the end. So, while she's killed with an axe, it gets worse. It gets worse. So she butchers the body up into 9 parts, gathering the blood together inside the bath. What happens next is from Cianciulli's memoir called An Embittered Soul's Confessions.
What happens next we shouldn't talk about to the public, I don't think.
Right. Wow. I think you might be sleeping with one eye open tonight, mate, because
already have.
Just let your imagination flow at the next bit, right? I threw the 9 pieces of her into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap. And I stirred the mixture until the pieces dissolved into a thick, dark mush. that are poured into several buckets and emptied into a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the bath,
God.
I waited until it coagulated, dried it in the oven, ground it
Uh-huh.
and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate milks and eggs, as well as a bit of margarine. Kneading all the ingredients together, I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies that came to visit. So my husband and I also ate them.
Oh, right then.
What?
Well, I don't really know what to say about that, except it probably tastes better than my bakery.
Well, I was going to say, not only is she a psychopath, she's also really... Well, I was going to say she was a bad businesswoman using all her soap ingredients, wasting it on bodies, but she's actually a genius.
Yeah.
Make
Oh,
tea
it's gone.
cakes and sell it to the public.
And yeah,
Oh,
Gone.
my God.
Yeah.
so actually, perfectly sane thing to do. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I think that's... I mean,
Ooh, mixed views on that.
So, yeah. Okay. In all reality, she's absolutely fucking tapped. So, not only is she a cannibal, bathing in the blood of the woman, she's also feeding her to the guests. So, I would say your grand's coming round, but I mean, she ain't no spring chicken herself. But saying her family's coming round and she's feeding them. I'm guessing they must be looking like a little bit like Red Velvet, because there's no other way you're getting away with that.
Exactly, yeah. What'd you say? Oh.
Some sources.
Just to
Go on,
ask,
mate.
does her husband know at this point or not?
Ooh. It says, though Guiseppe and I also ate them. Now, I don't think you're going to be boiling a human broth in your house without your husband clocking.
Hang on, and Giuseppe, her son, the
Oh,
one that she didn't want to go to war?
Hold on. It might be right, actually.
Oh God! So the son that she's killed someone for because she didn't
Giuseppe
want
is
him
a
to go to
son,
war.
yeah.
She's now feeding this person's remains to it. This is some weird family. This is.
This is fucked up. No wonder they lost the war, the bloody Satanists.
No, they should have sent her into war, man. They would have fucking lost.
So, some sources also record that Cianciulli apparently received Seti's life savings, which was 30,000. Is it lira or lira?
Yeah, it would have been lira at the time.
Lira, yeah. It's about $7,500 at the time. Yeah, as payment for her services. Bit suspicious, but old Cianciulli's not done here. So, along comes old Francesca Suave. Now, she claimed to have found her newly found friend a job at a school for girls in nearby Piacenza. I think my Italian's spot on there. Piacenza. Yeah. She was persuaded to write postcards to be sent to friends, this time dealing the plans in exactly the same way. Although she was required to come see Cianciulli before her departure in the same way, she was then too drugged and killed with an axe. The murder occurred in 1940 in pretty much the same manner, and Cianciulli is said to have obtained 3,000 lira, equivalent to $750 from her second victim. So, at this point, still washing in the blood, eating her remains. The neighbours are buzzing. I mean, you're looking at war-torn Italy here. They've all got full stomachs. Their bellies are bursting. So, surely you've satisfied Satan for all the work you've done. Surely, have you not done enough?
This is my question. So the first time she was like, right, I don't want my son to go to war, so I'll get a human sacrifice to stop him from going to war. Okay, so what's the need for the second one then?
Well,
is it just continuous sacrifice?
Maybe he had a close call and she thought, bloody hell, I need to keep the darker forces at bay here. So, so yeah, this is what I'm saying. So I don't know, whoever she thinks she's providing the sacrifices to, it's got to be Satan, hasn't it? I don't know. Because there's no,
Poseidon.
Not Poseidon, you fucking weirdo.
Why not?
Grow up.
You don't know her life.
You don't know her.
You don't
Right.
know her. You don't know
So
what she's
yeah.
been through.
So surely at this point, you've killed 2 people. Is this not enough satanic act? Is this not enough for whoever you worship? Is this not enough murder for one lifetime?
Wants more.
Yeah, greedy.
Just one more. She wants more. Then along comes Virginia Cacioppo. Cianciulli's third and final victim was Virginia Cacioppo, a former soprano said to have sung at the famous La Scala, the opera house in Milan.
Oh.
Now, anything famous about, like, anything, any features that you can identify with opera singers, like, are there any resounding features that you can think of?
Are you going to say they're quite large?
They look a bit like you.
I knew that was coming.
They look a bit like you.
I knew something. I know Beast joke was coming on.
Yeah.
You know what I thought he was going to say? I thought he was going to say, if I was to go to the Clairvoyant earlier on, I thought he was going to predict that I'd die from obesity. Which that would just prove that you're shit.
You don't need to go to a clairvoyant for that. The doctors will tell you that. So, yes. So this lady's a little bit plump, should we say?
A little bit horny size.
Yeah. So Cianciulli claimed to have found her work as a secretary for a mysterious impresario. And that's a person that organises plays, concerts, that kind of thing. And this was down up in Florence. As with the other 2 women, she was instructed to go and not tell a single person where she was going. So Cacioppo agreed. And on the 30th of September 1940, came for a last visit to Cianciulli. The pattern to the murder was the same as the first 2.
Oh.
However, as I'm sure, Cianciulli probably saw this as a bit of art almost. So she looked at her body and thought, you're a little bit different to the rest. So unlike the first 2 victims, Cacioppo's body was melted down to make soap. Now, according to Cianciulli's statement, this is her quote, word for word. She ended up in the pot like the other 2. She ended up in the pot like the other 2. ... Her flesh was fat and white, in brackets, like Corliss. That's what she said. She said that.
I knew that was coming.
When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne. After a long time on the boil, I was able to make some of the most acceptable creamy soap.
Oh no, it's from all the fat, isn't it?
All the fat.
I can just imagine,
all the bubbling fat.
Bubbling in a bathtub now, and you guys standing over the bathtub going, "Oh, Orlish, you look like really nice soap. We could use this." I'm not sleeping at all tonight.
So I gave the bars to neighbours and acquaintances. The cakes too were better. That woman was really sweet. That is the quote.
That is a great line. That is a great line. Oh, so what? She had enough to because she was so fat. Do you reckon she made more quantity so that all the neighbours got some?
Everyone was eating. Everyone was eating.
Had a bit of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Guiseppe was skipping off back to war.
With his bars of soap and his tea cakes, sorted.
So, from Cacioppo, Cianciulli reportedly received 50,000 lire, the equivalent to $12,500, assorted jewels and public bonds. Now, a bit risky, thinking you're getting away with this. But now, the cheeky bitch has even sold all the victims' clothing and shoes. Now, I don't know who she's selling it to. I don't know who it's going to fit in war-torn Italy when you say. But that is the final murder. Now, Cacioppo's sister-in-law becomes suspicious of the disappearance and told the police her last whereabouts. So, thankfully, she didn't keep it all a secret as she was told. So, Cianciulli, being the totally sane, calm woman she is, I say she's very calm. I think we'll give her that. Very calm and collected. Sane, she's not. She's somewhat proud of all of this. admits it to the police. No bother, guilt or shame. She's like, yeah, okay, I've done it. So a quote from her trial states, this is from, I'm guessing it's someone in the jury or journalist or whatever. Her deep-set, dark eyes gleamed with a wild inner pride as she concluded, now, Chanchuli's quote here, I gave the copper ladle, which I used to skim the fat off the kettles what she was boiling the bodies in,
Shouldn't be laughing, but
to my country, which was so badly in need of metal during the last days of the war. So soldiers are out there totally none the wiser. They're probably like scooping some soup out of a tin. That's just So, any idea on the verdict of the trial?
I'm gonna say guilty, Jack.
You think?
Oh, fuck off.
Nah, she was.
So I was gonna say,
Well, I was a little bit surprised at the sentence. Now,
go on.
30 years in prison
Yeah.
for a raving lunatic like that, yeah.
What? She didn't get life.
30 years in prison. I mean, she's old anyway, so like she's no spring chicken at this point. I think that's basically telling you you're going to die in prison.
Yeah.
Guess how long she got in a mental asylum?
How long?
3 years.
What?
Wow.
So the fortune teller was right all along. She had prison and the criminal asylum, both hands.
Jeez, I need to know who her barrister was.
Oh.
So
That is unbelievable.
during her time in prison that she wrote the previously mentioned An Embittered Soul's Confessions, in which she described her crimes. So this is where it's all come to fruition, like exactly the gory detail. She's got she's not holding anything back. She doesn't care. And it's in this book. She even provides tips and tricks on how to successfully turn people into soap.
Okay.
Do you know, I think that's like one thing about like serial killers. Like they are proud of what they've done. Like
a lot of them are.
Yeah, it's when you see like the is it Trevor McDonald who did the TV program?
Yeah, when he's on death row and stuff.
Yeah, that's the one. And when you like take an insight into looking at them, like they're just proud and like they're excited when they talk about it. It's weird.
I think it's when they've had this plan and they've perfectly executed it.
Yeah.
It's almost like that self of pride that they've been clever enough to come up with. I mean, they're obviously not that clever because they got caught, but they're obviously like come up with this plan that they get such satisfaction. I mean,
yeah, but some of them are that like across history. Some of them are that mental and they're that crazy and insane that getting caught is part of it because they want their story told.
They want the recognition.
They want the recognition. So
they want to be the famous murderer.
Yeah.
You know, like Jack the Ripper. No one, if you know what I mean, no one actually knows who Jack the Ripper was.
Who it was, yeah.
That's crazy. That is. Do you think though they are very smart though in some ways because if they have clever, if like they've gone on to kill more than one person, that takes an element of surprise and cleverness, I suppose.
And I think back then as well, this was easy. Nowadays things are so.
It's a lot different. Isn't
got the CCTV
education, surveillance, everything prevents. Well, that doesn't prevent it. It deters that kind of behaviour in the most part.
Isn't it? When it's more mass killing.
But that's it. So I was just having this discussion before the podcast. About what's a sociopath, what's a psychopath, and what are the different definitions for killers? Like, is that you get a spree killer, you get a serial killer, you get a mass killer or mass murder, which they're all because of different things. So that's why I was defining at the start. So the serial killer is killing three or more people over like a period of time. A spree killer could be like you kill a few people in a person or in one spot, move to the next spot, kill them, like some terror attacks, I guess, and then your mass killings are like you know
explosions,
terrorist attacks, school shootings, that kind of things. Yeah.
Okay.
But so that is it. I didn't think this one was going to be a very a very long one, to be honest. Like I say, because there's not much relatable where you guys are going to be like, oh yeah, I've done that too. But
do you know what? Sorry, do you know what I do want to ask? So do you know, like, obviously she's released her memoirs, and she's saying how to kill people and how to make soap out of people.
How does that get published?
How does that get published? Surely you think, well, hang on, let's not report this woman for her crimes. Let's keep it as down low as possible because you don't want to inspire people.
It was released when she was in prison. Like to give her something to do. But like I don't know, because money talks, doesn't it? I mean, people will listen to this because they've got an interest. Like, doesn't mean people are serial killers, but people like hearing the gruesome stories.
Yeah, oh God, the mad soap killer of fucking Sheldon next in Birmingham. I'll be horrified.
But that's that's why I thought I'd look for one. I think a female serial killer is always it's not expected. I think it's some ridiculous stat. Like I think 90% of serial killers are men. I think most of murders committed by women tend to be domestic. Yeah, you know, they've had enough of the fella if they beat, like, you know, if maybe a retaliation to domestic abuse and that kind of stuff.
But do you know what's interesting? The fact that you mentioned about the amount of miscarriages that she had.
I mean, she's had a troubled childhood from the start. 2 suicide attempts at a young age. Now it doesn't go into I guess back then as well. There's not much record of anything. But yeah, she's obviously not. What's the word?
Well, the kind of hormonal imbalance.
She's not. She's not mentally balanced from the start. But yeah, so it amounted to that. It's a little bit fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
Do you know what she was? Was she diagnosed with anything, Jack? At the end, did they say that she had this?
I'm assuming she would have got some form of insanity to be put into the criminal asylum.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say anything about the sentence, so I assume.
I would have said back then, like 1940, the psychiatric analysis wouldn't have been. It's not what it is today.
Mental health wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you're just insane, aren't you? That's
it wasn't until the 70s with the FBI when they started looking. I mean, you've seen the series Mindhunter. When they start looking into the reasons why people do the things they do, like looking into. Like back then, it was just like, you're a lunatic. Now that is probably very, very relevant here. There's obviously something that's triggered this.
Yeah, definitely.
So this kind of behaviour. The suicide attempts, but why was the suicide attempts there in the first place? Has there been abuse? Anything you don't know? But that's a whole different topic, isn't it? The reasons why people do the things they do. Yeah, it's a very interesting one. But yeah, so there we have it. Aaron, did you say you've got a fact for us today?
Oh yes, I do have a fact actually today, Jack, and it was I knew it was your podcast, so it was relating to your first one that you did, the first podcast that you did on the Vietnam War. So just a quick one. As of today, with more than 58,000 deaths, more Americans have died with COVID-19 than died in the Vietnam War.
Wow,
that is a great fact.
That is a very great fact.
I say a great fact. It's a shit. It's an interesting fact, but a shit issue. That's it's crazy.
It is, isn't it? So it just shows like how many people are dying over there. Obviously, I know they have a much bigger population than ours, but it's crazy, isn't it?
No, but you look at the numbers worldwide. It's taking people. It's a very scary thing. And I think actually going forward into future podcasts, we'll try and have a fact of the podcast brought in by each one of us. So if I think because you've done this one, if we do. If the person who presented the previous podcast presents the fact at the next one, so I'll bring one for you at yours, Horlus. So yeah, that's all for tonight then, I think, guys.
Enjoyed that. Mate. Good.
Yeah, short and sweet. So So yeah, we'll see you all on Sunday for Horless's podcast, which I have absolutely no idea what path is going to take.
Well,
We're trying to pull away from
to be
football now.
A psychopath. Sorry.
Yeah, psychopath. Fat soap. So yeah, so there we have it, guys. Right, yeah. Thank you all for listening, and catch you Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. See you Sunday.